Hello and welcome back to Off the Post. In today's episode, I'll be discussing 3 things we learned from the Manchester derby. But before that, as always, please like, comment and subscribe. It's very much appreciated and it goes a long way in helping me build a small community on my channel, okay? We've recently just hit 226 subscribers and I just want to say a massive thank you for you guys showing support my videos, all the likes and the comments on social media as well. It definitely does go unnoticed and I just want to say a massive thank you really. But let's get straight into the episode, shall we? Kicking off with the first thing we learned in this game is how Haaland is in an excellent form at the moment. He's absolutely amazing. He's scored 5 goals in 4 games in the Premier League and he's also scored 5 goals during an international break against Moldova. I'm pretty sure something like that. He's been absolutely sensational in this Manchester derby. He absolutely, he was one of the best players in the game, wasn't he? And I feel like he's going to go on and win the Golden Boot in the Premier League. Okay, that might be a little bit of a, controversial statement. I'm not too sure, but for me, he probably is the best striker in the league alongside Alexander Isak, of course, even though he hasn't started the season yet. However, if Haaland's already scored 5 goals at the start of the season in 4 game weeks, Alexander Isak is 5 goals behind Haaland from that point of view. So will he be able to catch him up in time? I'm not too sure. But then again, Liverpool do look like very attacking side, winning at the weekend as well. Just about winning pretty much, scoring a late goal through a Salah penalty. But anyways, back on to Manchester City, okay. For me, Haaland was absolutely amazing in this game. He ran riot on the Manchester United defence. For me, the 3 at the back, just the 3-4-3 system just doesn't work with Manchester United. And when will Ruben Amorim sort of realise that? I don't, he's sort of going to die on his hill, isn't he? But, that's sort of our second point. Anyways, if we move over now to Erling Haaland and talk about some of the goals he scored in this game, he was absolutely sensational. Obviously, Phil Foden got the first goal for Manchester City, and, it was so good for him to sort of get the first goal because, he's had a few harsh critics over recent weeks and last season and whatnot, getting that much game time under Pep recently. But, boyhood fan in Phil Foden, amazing. And then Haaland, right, nice little free ball from Jeremy Doku for the second goal. He sort of just ran into the box, shoved the defender off him pretty much and sort of just put it into the far post. Away from the goalkeeper, the Turkish goalkeeper for Manchester United. And for me, it was easy as you like for Erling Haaland. He just ran the game, didn't he? He was amazing in this game. And for me, I really, truly do believe that he's going to go on and win the Golden Boot. If we talk about him being a clinical finisher, right, he's scored over 300 goals now in his career. And he's, 23, 24 maybe? He's so young. And he's got all the ability, he's got all the potential to go on and beat the Alan Shearer's record in the Premier League. I truly do believe that, as long as he stays at Manchester City and doesn't get a move away from the Premier League. Because if he does, that's obviously probably won't happen for him, but I could definitely see that in the future for the Norwegian striker. And for me, if we talk about his second goal, the 3rd goal in the game, okay, that was fantastic as well because it came from a Manchester City counter-attack. Obviously, Manchester United were playing such a high line, and then one of the midfielders got the ball back into Bernardo Silva, who played a lovely through ball into Haaland, okay, and he had so much time and space in the world to run into the box and just slot it straight past the Turkish goalkeeper. This game goes to show that Manchester City are back in a title race this season. Obviously, lost 2 games this season, and if they lost against Manchester United, it would have been 3 defeats in a row. However, I really do feel like this is where they're going to kick on and bring that momentum into their next upcoming fixtures, okay? For me, they definitely will be in a title race. It's too early to rule them out of it, I'm pretty sure. And for me, when you've got such a clinical striker in Haaland, you're always going to be in a title race. But you got the likes of, Phil Foden now who's scoring goals, Jeremy Doku who's providing the assists, getting 2 assists in this game. It's definitely something to be proud of because, Manchester United in recent seasons are fantastic against their Manchester rivals in Manchester City, aren't they? They always seem to get a good result against Manchester City. However, in this game, it does feel like Manchester is blue for this game week, for the upcoming season at least anyways, until they play Manchester United at Old Trafford. But, at Etihad, they sort of just blew them away, didn't they, for this one. But anyways, moving over now to the second thing we learned in this game week is how Ruben Amorim needs to start Kobbie Mainoo in that midfield. For me, why does he keep on playing Ugarte? Why does he keep on starting Ugarte? Just because it just doesn't seem to be working, does he? That midfield two of Ugarte and Fernandes, it just doesn't work. It's not balanced enough. for me, it just seems too rigid. It doesn't work. There's no cohesion in that midfield. And for me, yes, Kobbie Mainoo is more of a number 8. Yes, he's more of a attacking player who wants to get on the ball and provide those assists, get those goals. Surely he will offer more in abundance than Ugarte does, because Ugarte, he's definitely, don't get me wrong, he's more of a defensive-minded player, but he just doesn't do that. Manchester United conceded 3 goals in this game, and that's when Ugarte was playing. So yes, Kobbie Mainoo is more of an attacking player, but surely give him the game time, give him the confidence, give him the belief, learn that number the 6th position, to learn the defensive position. Yes, don't get me wrong, he likes to pass and move, he always has an eye thinking of how can he contribute in the attacking ends of the pitch, okay? How can he get some assists, how can he get goals? But if Ruben Amorim can sort of, bring you back a bit and sort of keep him as a CDM, if you like, if he can sort of just hold his position in that defensive role, I feel like that would be more beneficial in that team. However, I really do feel like Ruben Amorim is sort of going to die on his hill in that 3-4-3 formation. I don't know why he's going to do it, because it doesn't seem to be working. Surely Manchester United are better fit to play 3 in midfield, like a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, something like that. Something a little bit more defensive sound, defensive stability. I don't know why he's not changing up the formation, because honestly, sooner rather than later, something's going to go seriously wrong for Ruben Amorim. He might potentially get sacked this season. I don't want to say that because it is a little bit harsh. However, it's just a reality. Manchester United can't go another season finishing in the bottom half, finishing 15th, finishing 16th, finishing 13th. That's an awful season for Manchester United for their standards. They've got to finish at least top 10 this season, especially with the signings they've made. Yes, they don't have a star quality goalkeeper who they've slightly moaned about. Yes, they don't have a centre midfielder in, I think they was linked with Baleba from Brighton. There was linked with Donnarumma. For me, why didn't they sign both of these players rather than splashing the cash out on forwards? Yes, they needed forwards, don't get me wrong. Surely Ruben Amorim should have, tried his hardest to get those players over the line as well. But unfortunately now, Manchester United look the same as they were last season. And I truly do believe it's going to be more of the same. It's going to be a very disappointing season once again. Hopefully Ruben Amorim can see the star quality in Kobbie Mainoo, because I truly do believe if he doesn't get enough game time in this team, he'll look at the likes of Marcus Rashford and Jadon Sancho and potentially, try and find a way out of the club as well. Whether that's on loan or a permanent deal, just because, a player of that quality, a player of that, skill set doesn't deserve to be sitting on the bench week in, week out. He honestly doesn't, because he can have a massive impact on the game, especially what he did for England a few seasons ago in the Euros, I'm pretty sure it was. And moving over now to the third and final thing we learn in the Manchester derby would be how Donnarumma put in a perfect performance, man of the match performance in his debut for Manchester City, okay? For me, he was absolutely amazing. He made at least 2 or 3 world-class saves in this game. It was truly sensational. I especially remember that one with Mbeumo, okay? I think it was in the second half, I'm pretty sure. It was a half volley from Mbeumo, and he Donnarumma got down, perfect, fast reflexes, okay? Got his hands to the ball and just parried it out wide. Absolutely fantastic goalkeeping. Don't get me wrong, it sounds simple, doesn't it? But in recent seasons, with an Ederson, with a James Trafford in goal, you might not have seen that, especially at the start of the season with James Trafford. I don't know if that sort of goalkeeper would make that save at the high level, okay? Donnarumma just makes it look simple, and that's what they need in that Manchester City defence and goalkeeping area, don't they? Don't get me wrong. Ederson's now gone out on loan and they've got James Trafford in, and he has got bags of potential, and he had a good time with Burnley. However, I don't think he's going to be making those sort of same saves, because I really do feel like he's more of a confidence player, James Trafford, at the moment, especially with some of the criticism he's received in recent weeks. You do have to feel sorry for James Trafford a little bit, especially when they've just brought in a world-class goalkeeper in Donnarumma, because now he's sort of going to be sitting on the bench playing second fiddle to Donnarumma, isn't he, James Trafford? So it is a little bit unfortunate, and you sort of got to question yourself, is he going to potentially move on next season already after 4 game weeks? I don't want to say it, does sound a little bit harsh, because obviously you want to fight for your position and whatnot, but from that point of view, I just can't see it. I feel like he's going to get sold on for some more money. Probably, Manchester City making profit again. But going back to Donnarumma, okay, he definitely had man of the match potential in this game, okay. He made 2 or 3 big saves, and he honestly was amazing. I feel like there's all this commotion around, you know, him not being able to play out from the back. You know, he's not very good with his feet and all this sort of good stuff. But we've always spoke about, you know, Pep Guardiola not potentially being able to rebuild his teams in Barcelona, in Bayern Munich, in Man City, and I feel like we are starting to see it now with some of the signings he's brought in. You know, Donnarumma, he might not be as good as Ederson with his feet, but there's nothing wrong with that. You've got to be a good shot stopper to begin with. You've got to keep the ball out of the net, and that's what Donnarumma has done exactly in this game. He's coming in against the Manchester United in the Manchester derby, okay, and he's absolutely put in a man of the match performance. And for me, he's one of the standout players. Him, Haaland, Doku, Phil Foden. I think those are the main reasons why they won the game for Manchester City, and I really do think now they're going to kick on and gonna, you know, battle Liverpool, battle Arsenal, battle maybe even Chelsea for an outside shout of winning the Premier League this season. Who knows? For me, it is tricky because obviously when you think about balance to the side, I think as long as they can get their midfield sorted sooner rather later for Manchester City, you know, at the moment, with Rodri just coming back from injury, with Reinders in there as well, with, you know, Kevin De Bruyne leaving to join Napoli, it does seem like the cohesion, does seem like the balance of the midfield does seem a little bit off in those attacking areas. I know they've scored 3 goals, it does sound a little bit silly saying that, but when you think about the overall play, the build-up play and all that sort of good stuff, the attacking chances created, I don't think it was as attacking as they used to be last season with when Kevin De Bruyne was in there. I don't know if you will agree or disagree with me on that take. But let's end the video with some questions. How do you feel about Haaland this season? Is he in excellent form? Do you feel like Haaland can help Manchester City win the Premier League? Can he win the Golden Boot as well? How do you feel about Ruben Amorim not playing Kobbie Mainoo from the start? Do they need to start Kobbie Mainoo to sort of change you know, their look, if you like, to give them some good vein of form? Do you feel like Kobbie Mainoo is the answer in that midfield? How do you feel about Donnarumma's performance against Manchester United? Did he put in a man of the match performance? Is he actually good enough to play with the ball at his feet? But yeah, those are all my questions. But before that, as always, please like, comment, subscribe. It's very much appreciated, and it goes a long way in helping me build a small community on my channel. We've recently just hit 226 subscribers, and if we can go and hit 250 subscribers, okay, I'll be absolutely buzzing. I'll be absolutely over the moon. And yeah, it'll be a dream come true, wouldn't it? I just want to say, just quickly, okay, I'm currently recording this at night time because I've just started uni again, okay? So I'm not too sure about the schedule of these videos. I might just have to do 2 videos a week from now on, so hopefully you guys can bear with me with that as well, because I want to focus on my 3rd year. It's my 3rd and final year, so I want to put all my effort going into uni. And yeah, I just want to say there's a bit of a black shadow as well on half my face, so hopefully that isn't too distracting. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.